Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. He's changed. I've got a balanced rack, but it's a non-bingo-y one. I don't think B-Fox is good. I think B-Foxed is good, but not without the ED. So I can't see a way of getting the X doubled. But Fox leaves a pretty good rack leave. Great, that looks close to a bingo, and I've got the S, which is good. And if I don't have a bingo, I've got a scoring tile in the B, and I'll be looking to split up the duplicates. So I can't see a 7 with this rack, and not many floaters to consider. The O doesn't look useful. Not seeing anything with the X, nothing with the F. And I'm expecting a parallel play, so there could well be no floaters after this move. But that's okay. Fox takes a Y at the end. I've got the C prefix. I think through an L I would have teasable. Not sure about seatable, or indeed either of them. I'm sure there will be a number of 8s, but not with the floaters on this board. Still looking to see if there's a 7 with these tiles, but I'm not seeing anything. I've got the AB prefix. Now opponent changed 3, so if he kept 4 good tiles, he could well be close to a bingo. And if he does bingo, he'll be providing floaters. I've got BA above the top of Fox. Can't see any EBA words without burning the S, and I don't think the score would justify that. But I would, for example, have BSAT. Only 27 points for that. Okay, so opponent doesn't bingo, which is good, because I was unlikely to bingo back. Zoo takes nothing after it, or takes a B, and Zoo takes nothing in front, so I'm not going to get value out of the X. Rut only takes an S after it of the tiles I have. So I'd like to play off B, E and A. The closest I can get to that is playing a bet for 15 points. Not an ideal rack leave, especially as it's creating a double-double lane with my opponent close to a bingo. But he may have a 7-letter bingo ending in S and play in column 11. But this A isn't particularly useful with this rack. So can I do better? 18 minutes on my clock. Rut doesn't take anything in front that I have. Well, it takes a B, but there aren't any FB words. Bore is good. So I could have a play ending EB, but I'm not seeing one of those. I could play bat, keeping E's. But I think that's one vowel too many. I'm thinking about going for this. A bet for 15. Doesn't feel great. I'm going with it. Wow, pretty grim pickup. All 1-pointers, lots of duplicates. But if my opponent plays in column 11, I can play parallel in row K, something like Anan. Anana is also good. which would play. Okay, well, I'm encouraged by the fact that my opponent is not bingoing. Dan isn't really helpful for me because I can't play Anan or Anana, and those were my plays for sorting my rack out. I could just play Ana here. Only 9 points, but the rack leave is good. And I think this edge is changing. But is 9 points seriously the best I can do? I do need to get rid of 2 A's and an N. Yeah, and I just don't have anything which goes after add or en, so that is it. Anna for 9. Great, I have Agonies and Agonize. And Agonize plays in row G, making F. And Agonies plays in column 13, so I am definitely bingoing. And Agonies plays in row G to make F and sort, so I wouldn't be opening up column 1. But will I be playing catch-up? Is my opponent finally going to bingo? I felt that he's been on the edge of bingoing with each of his moves so far after his initial change. Do I have a double-double in column 11? Rut only takes an S after it of the tiles I have. So SN something? Unlikely. Well, Ganoins is the play. Great, just 19 points for my opponent. He doesn't bingo. I do have Agonies. The play in column 13 doesn't get doubled and only gets the points from Anna. Now, do either of my bingos play in row L parallel to Dan? Nope, because they fail at the EN point. Is there a third anagram with this rack as a 7? I don't think so. So, Agonies for 71. Wow, nice to see that blank. The rest of the rack a bit of a horror show with 2 V's and an F. But look at this, my Z can go above the A. I've got Tsar and Tsar for 60 points. I'm just wondering if there's a play Favo Natso, and I think there may be, but that only burns 1 V. And may not exist, but I'm certainly thinking of something. Now, Agony's providing 2 hotspots with these vowels underneath triple letter squares, but only the first of them avails this rack. And the Tsar play postpones the problem of the F's and the V's. But I don't mind doing that when I'm scoring 60 points. Quite a critical moment, I'm now a bingo ahead. But is that about to evaporate? Opponent could be tempted in row H, but that may not scupper Tsar, it may just give me more points for it. But what if Tsar is blocked? What do I do? Is there anywhere for Vav? There isn't. This Dan play has proved annoyingly elusive in terms of parallel plays. I guess I haven't before this move had an O, and neither my V or F on this turn can go after bar. Favour is good, on to an A, but not as good as Tsar. Nothing goes in front of sort. R takes an A at the end, and R takes an F in front. So Vav would be quite nice in terms of sorting the rack out, but I'm not seeing anywhere for that. Vivo would be good through an I. Yep, my wonderful Z spotter's gone. Only 23 points for my opponent, which is fantastic. But what to do? Should I change? This is pretty grim stuff. FAE is good, so I could play Ov and Fay. 27 points. Probably better than changing. Favone is good, I think, but I've no E. VAE is good, but nothing goes in front of GI. Ov feels just a bit lame. GIF is good, and Ono is good. V and Z don't go well together. I'm still tempted by Ov. Vegi, but for far fewer points. So I'm keeping the A, which goes with the Z. I am sorting out FVV, albeit one tile at a time. And 27 points is an okay score. And this is really not providing very much for my opponent, so I'm going with this. Not helpful. I've got big tiles in the J and the Z, but they go well with vowels, and I've only got the one. I would have JZ onto a Y. Wow, 26 points for my opponent. And that's a good play in the sense that it provides nothing for me just at a time when I was looking for something. I really need to play off Vav, and there's just nowhere for it. Now, am I missing a big... Is there a big play in column 1 which gets the J or the Z doubled? Not that I can see. Are there any other big spots? This board is looking pretty dry. This could be the time to change. I'm changing. So I keep my blank, I keep my A, I keep my R. Do I keep the Z? I think so. It's my insurance policy against not bingoing. But by keeping it, I'm reducing my chances of bingoing. I'm keeping it. I think I may have a play in column, any play in column 1 with the Z is going to score well. Wow, grim. Just consonants in the pickup. And no vowels on the board. That is annoying. However, I've got a 40-point lead. I could play ads and a ha, but that takes an E, so it's inviting a big response, and there's still a ton of E's to come. Zin is good, so I could play just that. Re-ink is good, but zinc without the E on the end is not. However, I could play drink. That would be quite nice. Score quite well. Keep a decent rack lead. Stays available. Only 23 points for my opponent. He's highly rated, so I have to imagine he's being pretty unfortunate in his racks. So drink for 29, decent score, decent rack leave. Am I missing something? Don't think so. There are front hooks for lures, but I don't have any. I'm going with this. I draw a Q and I get one of my V's back. So I'm very fortunate my opponent has not been laying bingos down. My priority is playing off the queue, I think, or scoring a lot of points. Opponent does bingo. I was just eyeing up this D. In vain, however, because I thought I may be able to play caddy or K through it, but I couldn't. What I do have is cat above the top of Dreidels for 30. Decent score, decent rack leave. I trail by 20. This is going to put me fractionally in front. Is there somewhere else for cat? Underneath lures? And nowhere else, so... And I don't have a play in column 8. Yeah, I'm going with this. I draw the J back, but this back rack is slightly better than my previous one. I've only got the 1V, and I've got one more vowel, including an O. So finally, I have the option of playing jog or vog. Jog probably preferable. J and Z don't go great together, despite JZ. Still one wide to come. Close game, just 8 points between us. And one blank to come. Through a Y, I would have Gyoza. Now the front hooks for lures are B and S, not F. My O spot goes. Cat has really crushed a lot of the scoring potential created by Dreidels. Nothing goes in front of TE. Again, do I have a play in column 1? Don't think so. Noi takes nothing in front of it. Anna doesn't take anything after it that I've got apart from my blank. There's a bit of a ladder down here, so that's hampering moves. I could play just Zoo for 22. 10 minutes on my clock. Azo is good, so I could play that in row C. But keeping G, J and V, terrible. So what about just playing Jaw down here, which gives away nothing? Is there something better? Don't think so. 3 O's, 2 A's to come. I think I'd rather keep the A. So Jaw for 26. I'm reunited with my second V. Fantastic. But, more importantly, my blank couples up with a second blank. Fantastic. And that's mainly fantastic because my opponent doesn't have it. The rest of my rack is horrendous. But I'm 10 points in front. And look at this. I can play Vavs onto the S of Dreidels. It doesn't score very much, but it gets rid of these 2 nightmare Vs. Just looking at the rack as a whole in case any bingos jump to mind, and they don't. Oh, opponents played Chow. I didn't see that. So, do I have something better than Vavs? I quite like Vavs. Opponent is unlikely to triple through it, and he's unlikely to score hugely through it. Chow has created a bingo lane, which is pretty useful. I can't really take advantage of the C. Can't see any play with my V or Z on this triple letter square, which gets doubled. Well, I could stop one square short with Vagi. I need to get rid of these Vs. They just go so badly with the Z. And I sort of want the board to open up a bit with these blanks. I'm pretty much guaranteed to bingo fairly soon. Still 26 tiles in the bag, so I'm playing Vavs. Is there somewhere better? TE takes an A in front. I think I may have said that it doesn't take anything in front. It takes an A. But I don't have a better play than Vavs through it, or using it. I could play Viva, but I think an A in row O is far more dangerous than a V covering up the double letter square. I'm going with Vavs. Well, despite the blanks, this is still an unbingo-y rack. So the W, Z and G are the non-bingo-y tiles. I'm not going to get rid of all three of them, I don't think. Just wondering if I have a player using one of my blanks, getting my Z tripled. Look at this, I haven't even got anything half decent through the C of Chow or the V of Vavs. This rack is atrocious. However, I lead by 10 points. And there are very limited three-letter plays with the tiles on my rack. All I can see is Zal, keeping GW, which don't go well together. I could play Wage. I don't like that because it takes 3 hooks at the end. However, no D's to come, only one R, only one S. However, why give my opponent the opportunity? Okay, that goes away. Opponent plays Unveil for 27, good score for him. He goes into a 20-point lead. 8 minutes on my clock, 18 tiles to come. Just looking at this C and I just can't use it. What I could do is play Wig. And I think I will. It stops my opponent scoring through the C. Wig only takes an S at the end. There's only one of those to come. And I'm really jettisoning two out of the 3 problem tiles. And this rack looks a lot better than this rack plus a G and a W. So let's see if I can replenish the rack with another G and W. Just noticing that IG can play underneath LU. But I can't play Wig without burning the blank. I'm going with this. Great, finally a nice looking rack. So it's balanced, it's pretty bingo-y apart from the Z, and I've got 2 blanks. Surely there is a bingo here. I have Tolzeys, I think. Tolzeys. Let me just check that. Yeah, so that plays underneath NO. Do I have a play with S in first or second place? And probably in first place. Don't think so. Do I have a play beginning with L? Nope, don't think so. Tolzeys is not ideal. It doesn't score very much. It provides access to triple word squares for my opponent. So, is there something better? I think the Zlotys is good. IES. Has a 7, nowhere for that. What about a play beginning with I? Well, any such play is going to open up access to a triple word square. However, it will get doubled in a way that Tolzeys wouldn't. But I'm not seeing a play. Column 13 is not a bingo lane. Nothing goes after UH or after Dreidels. Row M. Not a bingo lane. Nothing goes after R's. So at the moment it's Tolzeys or nothing. I wonder if my opponent will just play down from the C. Well, he can only do that if he's got the solitary A, so he may not be able to. Well, he can, which is great, because he doesn't score very much, and I have got Tolzeys. Now, is there a better play in row N which sticks the Z on one of these triple letter squares? This looks like there's more than one bingo here. I've got Zealots on my rack. That doesn't play. Is there really nothing beginning with the L? 14 tiles in the bag, but only 7 minutes on my clock, so especially given that I've got Tolzeys in my back pocket, I don't have a huge amount of time. I'm going to run through the alphabet once. And I'm looking for 7s. Not seen anything yet. That looks like there could be something, possibly zeolite, but it doesn't hook, no. Zonulet, well, that doesn't work. Plotst, wow, not good. That's a shame. That's Tolzies. And there could be another one here. Again, that looks promising, but I'm not seeing anything. Zealot tree through an R. Okay, so I'm playing Tolzies. And this should be an interesting end to the game, because I'm trailing by nearly 30 points, so this is only going to put me about 30 points in front. And look at this, an E over this triple word square. Wow, pretty good. That could have been a lot worse. I have Prithee, nowhere for it at the moment, and are very unlikely for there to be somewhere for it. After my opponent has played, I'm sure he's going to be drawn to the bottom row. Can't see anything beginning with L or I. But this is balanced, and I have a 40-point lead to defend with just 7 tiles in the bag. The trouble with my opponent taking row O is that he's unlikely to be providing anything. If he doesn't go below the Y, though, my T and H can go underneath the S. So I have Threep and ST, okay, which would be quite nice. Probably enough to hang on for the win. What if the opponent doesn't play in row O? Wow, look at that, he would have to have the O to play underneath the Z. He might not have that O. Let me check the remaining vowels. 6 out of 14, so fairly balanced. So if opponent doesn't have the O, he probably doesn't have a monster score, because only the M of the high scoring tiles can go underneath the E. So if he's missing the M and the O, very little on offer for him. I, on the other hand, have an H which can go underneath this E. So I could play Het or Heat. But supposing that is blocked, what options are available elsewhere for me? Do I have anything ending in O? I have Hetero. Wow, look at that. 18 points. Well, I certainly do need to play down the bottom. 3 tiles left. 3 tiles left. So, sorry, 4 tiles left, so I'm looking to play 3, and I can do that with Het. 35 points. And I think my opponent's bingo prospects are limited. And I don't think DWEEB is hugely helpful for my opponent. I think his best options for catching me were a big score in row O, so I think it's better for me to take row O than it is to block anything created by DWEEB. Hetero would have scored 30 points and emptied the bag. I think this is a better play, and this is a balanced rack cleave. Can I hang on? And even if opponent does bingo, which he may if the G's in the bag, he will draw 1 tile and I'll have 1 chance at getting a score, which may be quite difficult, because I'd be looking to jettison, and I'd be looking to play a lot of tiles, and that's unlikely to happen, so my opponent would probably get a decent amount of count back. So if opponent bingoed, I think it would be a jolly close. And if he bingos in column 15, he may just be too far ahead for me to catch him. I do not have a play in column 1 with this rack that I can see. I can't see anything in column 15 down from the E. So the board at the moment is offering me nothing, and I have got scoring tiles. And if opponent doesn't have a bingo, he may play off just 1 tile. But were he to do that, I could probably block the bingo lanes, because at the moment I think the only bingo lanes are down from the B and E of Vibe. I have pipe on my rack, just in case that's a component part of a bingo. Something like blowpipe. This really isn't a nice set of tiles. There are very few opportunities on the board for scoring tiles. Sometimes with a rack like this, it's fairly easy to score 30-odd points, which is probably all I'm looking for, but that's not the situation here. Pars is good, so I have pipe, I have pew, which I may consider depending on what my opponent's rack is. After my opponent has played, I will definitely be able to see what's on his rack, so I won't be taking any unknown risks with pew or pars. Pew or pipe. No N for going underneath chi. How are we doing for time? Just 3 minutes on my opponent's clock and 4 on mine, so this is going down to the wire. I still don't have anything to go after Anna. It takes an L and an S and an N. TE takes a W, but L doesn't take... Well, it doesn't take an E, and WI is not good. So I'm struggling to see anywhere that I can score even 20 points with this rack. The board is absolutely choked. That may be my salvation, because opponents in the same situation as I'm in. Great. He's bailed. He's given up on getting a bingo. He's 30 points behind. He's keeping EMS. So I'm not quite home and dry. 4 minutes on my clock, which is good. Gosh, I just don't have a 3-letter play next to cogito. I have a 2-letter play, pi. Opponent's definitely going out. Is pi going to be enough? So I am 29 points ahead. I'll be 52 ahead. I'll lose 18 on countback. Opponent would need 34 from EMS. Unlikely. But is there something better? So if I play pew, then opponent plays M's. Only 18 points. That can't be better than pi, so at the moment pi is my best option. Just PI, I can't extend it by even 1 tile. Lurs takes nothing after it. What about prep? 18 points, only 12 on countback. And opponent just can't play M's anywhere near this. He can't play it parallel to cogito. Even if he could play through the P, I'd win. The best he can do is something like ME, but then I get another go. Can I go out with WIE? Well, I have wipe, which opponent could block. But if he blocked it with ME, wipe would still play. It just wouldn't exhaust my rack. So what am I missing? Yes, I just can't see any big play for my opponent off this. So I'm going with this. So I lead by 48 and I lose 12 on countback. Opponent needs 36 points to win the game, or to draw rather. And he doesn't do that. Fantastic. So, the final score, 362 to my opponent, 383 to me, a winning margin of 21 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He changed, not surprising. And this was my rack. Wow, T-box. There was a way of getting the X doubled. That would have been the play. I played Fox for 20 fewer points. A bet is a lot better than F, but it's not 20 points better. It might only be 10 points better at best, I think. Opponent's rack. He has turners and returns. Wow, both are blocked. Fantastic. And they probably wouldn't have been blocked if I played T-box. I suspect he may have had something through one of those floaters or parallel. So, frustrating for him. He plays Ruck for 16. My rack. And I struggled here and I went with a bet in the end for 16. And look at this. Nothing obviously better. And again, opponent close to a bingo. Doesn't have one. Plays Dan. And this is the beginning of quite a frustrating run of racks. And I was just waiting for my opponent to zoom off, and it didn't quite happen that way. So I had this rack. Anana and Tar, not great, even though I have an S for Ananas. So I play Anna here, and look at the scores, absolutely dismal. The only 1 over 20 burns the S. So actually, I think Anna is fine. This rack leave is good, AENS. Definitely 13 points better than AN. Or thereabouts. Now, opponent's rack. Still no bingo, plays UH. And I do get a bingo down. L8, where's that? Ah, because of AHI. Okay, well that sticks the S in the middle of column 15, so I don't like it. But I only scored 71 here. Yeah, both of the 83-point plays open up column 15, so I still like my play. Opponent has Yersinia onto an A, and this is just in the wrong position for that. So he has been pretty unfortunate. He blocks my Z play, and I have this horror show. And do I change? I think I play OF here for 27. Azo L12 and a Ha, taking an N at the end. I still like OV. Opponent's rack is now deteriorating. He plays Yid. I lead by about 40. Jay-Z L3. Okay, making Ads and Bay. So what do I do here? Well, I change. I would have burnt both blanks to play Jay-Z. 55 points. Really, really hard. With clunky tiles and duplicate blanks. It's an unusual situation to be in. So, I don't know what's best there. Opponent plays Lurs. And this was my rack. And I played Drink. Wow, look at that. Tzadakars for 52 was available. So I played Drink for 29. Maybe I should have just played Dink because the D is available as a floater on a tight board. Opponent bingos. And this is my rack. And I now trail by 20 with a tricky rack. But fortunately I have Cat for 30, which really gets me out of a sticky spot. Opponent plays Noi, and now I have Jaw for 26, which again is just enough to keep going. Opponent's rack, he's got a Cynico, nowhere for it. Plays Chow. And now, what do I do here? I play Vabs for 14, and I still like that. I still like that, although Kaz was available for 42. Keeping GWV. Very, very hard with these super clunky racks. It seems odd to be saying that you prefer a 14-point play to a 42-point play. But I'm just going to have a real problem next turn with this. And as it turns out... Oh, let's go back. Opponent's rack. Plays Unveil. So I still have a problematic rack, but it's tractable. Zowie! Wow. And retaining a blank, that would have been the play. Wig for 14. Okay, Zowie definitely better. Opponent's rack. Plays Cam. And now I have Tolsies, and the only other bingos were Touzled and Touzles. But Zeloso was available at A1, burning just one blank. Keeping blank T, so I think actually Zeloso would have been the play. Opponent's rack plays Vibe. Now I have Prithee, nowhere for it. And I'm looking to play off just 3 tiles to leave 1 in the bag, so I like Het. Gosh, my poor opponent, that is pretty grim. Not even close to a bingo. And he does need 1, he trails by 60. He plays Cogito. And I think I have a ton of winning plays, it's just a matter of finding the winningest. Gosh, look at this. Pew plays underneath Not and O. I didn't see that for 19 points. That would have caused me a lot less anxiety if I'd spotted it. So I play Prep. And opponent goes out with Gems for 14. So, very exciting game. Really, well, not bizarre because that's overstating it, because the tiles in Scrabble are known, so any rack is obviously foreseeable. But there were some relatively strange racks with duplicate blanks, duplicate V's and Z's, so quite a few of those to deal with, but it's nice to have the opportunity to practice getting through them, and especially in a game where you win because you haven't paid anything for the lessons that you learned. There were a couple of suboptimal plays there, and I think the standout one was playing Wig instead of Zowie. So, all good fun. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.